And we have a gentleman on the line. I think he has taken industrial action against me. He has not come on this program for a very long time. I hope he has ended his industrial action. We are talking about no other than Mr. O'Neill Grant, a very experienced man. I wonder how many years he's been leading that organization. Yes, Mr. O'Neill Grant is the president of the Jamaica Civil Service Association. Yes, and civil servants, they don't joke, and they come up with ideas, but when they want more pay and benefits and they want to improve the service, they will speak out. And they have a very capable leader. I don't know how long he will last, because I guess they have election every now and again, but he's there. And we have him this morning to update us as to what is happening now, to what extent the public sector has settled now and we can move ahead. Mr. Grant, O'Neill Grant, good morning, my brother. How are you?
Morning, Vernon Darby. Glad to be on your program. No, I'm not taking strike action against you.
Some persons are, they're not coming on this program. Some of them afraid they say Vernon too blunt. And
matters of state detain me, Vernon.
Yes, I know. And you go for say a while ago, it's a good thing, married. Wife is who come for me.
I am.
Wife is who come for me. Because, and that's, I think we need to understand, Mr. Grant, that persons like yourself, you have your family and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And it must be difficult because it's a selfless job. You meeting probably late at nights, preparing reports and negotiating. I mean, I think about that. The average person don't think. And I know that your members, if you slip your slide and cuss you and tear and say you're biased and you're there with the government. Tell me if I lie, I tell you, that's just my thinking.
It's very hard on the family. I have family members who are civil servants as well.
Oh?
Teachers and administrative staff within. I have in-laws who actually work in government as well. So, when my members tell me that I am not dealing with them, I have to just remind them that me and my family are civil servants as well. And so, we have to make
So they actually tell you that. They say you're not looking after their interests. Boy, may I tell you, when you're a leader, it's not easy,
It is never easy.
My God.
It only takes one moment of less than perfect satisfaction for persons to start to color all the work that you have done over many years.
If for 10, 15, you think I don't know that? I'm quite aware of that. It's cruel, and I regard it as being ungrateful.
Look at it this way, Vernon.
Yes.
Jesus walked and did many miracles and wonders, and they still crucified him.
But here the joke now. In that time, Jesus resurrected on the third day. When they kill in this country, I dead, you dead. There's no resurrection for you. I ask them, so many persons we have crucified in this country. And sometimes I wonder what happened to them because they just slide out and you don't hear. And I know some persons that we tear them down and contribute. And by the way, even yours truly went up on here attack. I think I don't go through the living hell. But I must say, I never say it in me. Me tough no hell, but just go along the way the same way. The persons have helped and then turn around on them.
You just have to do what your principles are setting out for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Stick by them, be consistent, and don't waver. Once your principles are solid, you just stand strongly on them, and that's basically the best way to operate.
And by the way, I'm going to say something now, which is I have to say it. Can you imagine you have some listeners, probably journalists, listening and says, "Why is Vernon getting into that?" But I hope I get into these things. They say, but that has nothing to do with Mr. Grant on the radio program. But you want me to tell you why I'm getting into that? You should know, because you probably know me by this. Because I believe no matter what you do, whether you're the Prime Minister of this country, and I'm going to show off for I've sat down, have lunch with the Queen's husband, and I realize, there's somebody like myself too. They feel lonely too, they feel down too.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come on a program like this, I'm very concerned about you, your family, how you're functioning, and that is why I'm asking you these questions and discussing them, because what you do cannot be separated from you.
Definitely. So, the family carries the burden of your leadership.
Exactly. Oh yes, I know that. Now I want you to bring us up to date as to where things are now with the public sector. In terms of, I know you went through a rough time, and many persons do not understand. Want to make up nice for. As far as I'm concerned, no public servants, no too greedy, no want more money. Worse, it's about like the government, no, and tear down the government.
Mm-hmm. We're still going through it. We are
Yes.
still in phase one.
Now, when you respond to that, of those who say, that's a tear down government, no wicked, no, that's why money. Tell us what are some of the issues that you're.
The fact is that the workers have expectations.
Right.
Those expectations have been fueled by how the compensation restructuring was characterized. And as a result of those expectations, when the reality of what came out of the exercise is not what persons were expecting, there will, of course, have been dissatisfaction.
But hold on. What you mean that? But so hold on. Whenever have meetings and discussion, did they communicate well with you people so that you can know what is happening and what to expect?
The unions would have sat at the table and we would have had our conversations. But once you're on certain platforms, how you describe a thing as the best thing ever, generational opportunity, and so on, people start to have expectations.
Yes.
Documents would have been leaked and presented to the workers that would have given an impression that they would have been going home with a significant adjustment to salaries, well beyond what was done.
Yes.
And so when those expectations were not met, and in many instances, came out lower than what they were projecting,
persons are disappointed.
Persons were in mourning. We didn't deal with the loss aspect of the transformation very well.
What I can tell you, though, unless it is something personal, but as well keep it open, because when you talk about leaked documents, the people are going to leak it because people are them gross, and they're going to leak it. So I tell you, the police force, the way to do it. Take, for example, now, if you have a murder in, say, Halfway Tree, it probably take the police force probably next 3-4 hours to put together a press release and send it out. Well, by that time, that news gone around the world about 10 times already. You're wasting time. So I would say, yes, go ahead.
It's not in that respect. It's that when things were still in formulation, they were put out to the membership, and they would have used the incomplete information to a rough guesstimate as to what the outcome would be.
I see.
And when the finalized thing came out, it did not
meet expectation. Yes,
right.
Yes.
Right, and that caused a massive.
And I'm going to say, let them buy one out.
Yes, the thing that we know, persons are now saying that the union never represented their interests properly.
Not sell out, yes.
Understand what it is that we had to do in order for everybody to come away with something. Because this is a change in government policy, and we know that policy change will impact persons differently, particularly when compensation is concerned.
Let me say something here, because I haven't heard it said by anyone, and I'm thinking I'm no lawyer or what have you, but it is my clear understanding that under the Income Tax Act, every income, every benefit derived from any occupation, trade, I'm not talking like me a lawyer, so where you head for? What you know? Is taxable. So I'm going to put it to you, sir, that what has happened over the years is that our government has been doing something which is corrupt. What we do rather than run the system properly, we drop a little allowance, then a little allowance, then it has caught up on us.
No, it's not corruption.
No, hold on. And me say so. And I'm telling you that when we do follow the law, because really, if you have a taxation system and everything is taxable, then why have all these allowances? You have the allowance because you want to give
non-taxable payments to be made as well. It allows for concessions. It allows for the threshold. It allows for aspects of.
No, I know about the threshold, but let me tell you something. If the law allows that, we don't lie, but we not easy, Me I gonna tell you something. If the law allows that, you know what can happen then? We can give you 90% of your salary as allowance then.
Oh, definitely. Yes, definitely.
And if that can happen, sister, the law is stupid. It's stupid.
Once it falls under the Income Tax Act and the procedures are followed, then yes. But we must also recognize too that the issue of discretionary waivers, the time of discretionary waivers have gone.
Nowhere we're talking. What I'm saying to you, sir, we call it discretionary. But that is why even a policeman stopped on the road. You know what policeman using discretion? Left or right. Right? And I'm saying to you, we need to move to a system that we have your tax certain amount, you have your what do you call it, no taxable thing. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those who believe that you should tax persons according to what they consume, not according to what they earn. So if I work out 40 hours overtime, God for you, work more. But in this country, the more you work hard, the more we take out your money. I don't agree with it, I must tell you.
It's a regressive taxation system. That the more you work and earn, the more your taxation ought to be. But we don't find that is true, because the persons who bear the brunt of taxation in this country are the persons who are least able to afford it. So it's not a progressive taxation system that we have.
How is that possible? Tell us, tell us, sir. Hold on. Tell us, how is that possible? No, tell us. We need to know.
Yeah, because the poor consumes more of their income than the rich. And when you tax consumption, as we do in Jamaica,
yes.
Then you are going to be paying more out of your compensation for taxes than you would.
But if the rich hopefully will consume more, so they will also pay more.
No, the rich doesn't consume more. The rich consume basically at the same rate as the poor.
But if they do know, if they don't consume that much, it means therefore the money that earn go into investment. That should they don't just put it down.
Exactly.
And if it goes into investment, that investment should generate more income so that more people can get work.
Right. But it's not that way, because if you look at how investments work in this country,
yes.
There's been some changes in terms of how you tax dividends and so on, but it has not gone enough to be a leveler or to what we refer to as a tax justice.
The system not just, sir. We know that. We know not is an injustice system. Mm-hmm.
But for the persons who I represent, wage earners,
yes,
we bear a significant brunt of taxation, because we are taxed on our base income, and then we do pay tax on every dollar that we spend.
And you can't hide, right?
Right. And our propensity to consume is much, much higher than our propensity to save.
But hold on, there's another thing that people said. One trade union told me that is not true. There's a feeling that when you increase wages has been responsible for the increase in cost of living and so on. But I hear says that, I know so, Mr. Grant. Other things
have some pass-through effects, because, as I said, the persons who are taxed
yes.
in this country consume more of their income.
Mm-hmm.
Some persons actually borrow to consume. So when they get salaries then they are now going to convert that borrowing into from loans into borrowing from savings and income.
But Mr. God, I mean, the whole of your workers, that's what they do, as far as I know. The whole of them borrow money.
Yes, quite a significant portion of
yes.
They should look on their pay slip on a monthly basis.
Yes,
they're going over with very little, and they have to keep on going to the micro lenders and the loan.
Mr. God, may I beg you, tell him not to go there. So, gee, boss, then the micro lenders, then if I use the words, you get a word and I can't pay for you. But then the people, you then, Mr. God, you have to pay a whole heap of money, And when you pay a whole heap of money, they say you not qualify for the loan. Now, if that is not corruption, why you tell me what is corruption?
Persons have to inform themselves. Are you and I sit at a particular place where we advise people to come?
I want to which particular place? Who tell you I know you? I disown you.
We advise them to consume wisely, but some people recognize that borrowing is a part of consumption, and they don't use the cost of borrowing well.
But let me ask you something. The association, you have your own credit union?
We have a thrift society where our members borrow, save and borrow, and it is going extremely well.
But I have a suggestion now, Mr. Grant.
Sure.
We want to have no one bank now. Can you imagine if you had your own bank?
Well, we have 30,000 members so...
It should be difficult, because you know what you're all doing, Mr. Grant? You know what you're doing? A massive amount of people could have found their own bank and not taking the money and give back a mass and name it out in terms of all these charges. Mr. Grant, I'm putting too much weight on you because I know you're busy and your family. But I believe the time has come when public servants need to have their own bank and they have shares in it. Instead of the credit union is being restricted in terms of doing certain things because the big man who own the bank can't do what he want to. For example, tell me if I'm wrong now, because sometimes I have my facts wrong. Yes, I want credit union can have foreign exchange account. What kind of rubbish? What difference between them and the bank?
That is going to change when we go under BOJ regulations. And
really?
Those licenses will be extended, yes.
What a thing. That is great. Make sure when it changes, you said me can inform me immediately, sir.
Yes, man. We are just waiting on the BOJ regulation to be passed.
What a thing. That is big thing.
I'm a part of the movement.
Because the whole system work, you have to go through the bank. You get your little salary, go there. The bank name it out before you get it. And then when you get old now, right? And your Alzheimer's take in. You remember see account did there?
Mm-hmm.
Charges them out the whole of it. Mister, this is a very corrupt country, And I've been begging the banks, I'm going to appeal to you, sir. I need your help, because poor me have a big mouth. I'm going to appeal to you, sir, to ask the banks. I've been asking them for 10 years now, that when you have an account, you will be allowed to put a friend or somebody on that account. No, that means them can't spend the money, a contact person. So when anything happens to you, they can contact that person. The banks, them now, Ben, me come in and ask you, so they don't want to contact no money. Because the businessman said this year, so why they don't give them as a loan? They don't work for the money, but they want cheap loan. You understand the country that you're living in, sir? So why be a knock for your people? I want to work as I work all of the money, And they might get it. You have to change. So I'm going to say you have to change your strategy. That's more money for the workers, but they have to treat them differently. So the banks are.
Retention of income is
exactly
important. What you can retain in your pocket after you get paid is very, very important. And what you do with it after you retain it is also very important, which what we want to educate our members about.
And I want to tell you something, sir. You're a civil servant. When you pay them, they're not dash anybody, They must send them to school. They must do this and do that. No, I am putting it to you, so you must tell me if I'm talking stupidnness. The persons who are getting the big money in this country, now for them, they don't have no class. They're not ready. But any teacher, any public servant, they want to educate their youngsters and lift them up. So I am one of those who believe if you pay your public servants well, you're helping to develop your country because they're educated, they want their children to move up. But guess what? Darby can just go on the corner. And the girl, they back come up in now. What in the matter? And guess what? Me make 40 million. How much you make?
So there are some professions that they work hard,
Yes.
They work hard. The creatives work very hard.
Yeah, man, they work hard. But when I use them, because I'm not talking about the creative, talented people. There are some people that have no talent, they know what they do. But somehow the system tend to recognize them more and pay them more.
Society creates a hype and a fad around certain things.
Yes.
It generates revenue for the persons who are the practitioners of that particular type of hype. But in terms of longevity, we see who are the longevity ones.
Yes.
They are around, Those persons who span generations and genres. And it is there's a level of that is.
Yes.
You shine bright for a while and then you burn out and then it happens. But nature, it's life.
You have a problem, sir, in that many persons see the workers in the public sector as just want more money. And they, as I just said, outlined to you already, that their contribution and what they do and their philosophy and their training will help in national development. So somehow you have to get the message out there to say, listen, it's like women. If you give me a man, if you give me $1 million, you know what me do with the money?
Right. You're hitting the nail on the head.
I go find one rum bar, and drink 2 liquor. I go came on a but if you give the woman, the woman do with the money. She will tight in that thread bag. Yeah, thread bag
so
still.
The issue, Vernon, is one of how do we measure productivity? Because it's not a matter of how much we pay the worker, but how productive the worker is, and how do we measure that? And what has been plaguing the public sector, and the public feels it, is that we have not invested in public services as much as we ought to.
Yes.
And so when a man has to stand in line for 2 hours to do one transaction, they blame the public servant, but they don't recognize that the public servant has to work at what they get. And if you are going to be working with a manual system, it is going to be much slower than if you're working with an automated system. We would love to have persons go online to do their transactions, but we are not yet structured to do that properly. TAJ is doing a fairly good work in moving.
Yes. You know why? Because we want to collect the money. We want to collect the tax. That is why.
but the population is lagging behind. Because if it is that we could move more of our population online, then the cost of public services will go down. We won't need as many persons standing in a line. We don't need as many persons standing behind the counter to serve the walking public.
Yes.
Because we have moved most of our services online, and online transactions tend to be cheaper to deliver per capita than persons standing in a line.
Exactly.
But we have not invested enough in our public services for that to happen. I will give you an example, for instance. Take garbage collection. One of the costs that we bear environmentally and so on is that we have our garbage inefficiently collected and disposed of.
You need to come take over this program, Yes. Go and talk.
In some countries that you go, we have efficient system of collecting garbage. You don't find the pile-up that we have at turns and on the sidewalk on the road that leads to other costs that we should not be incurred by the public first.
Yes, yes.
So if we could even automate how we deal with the collection of garbage, have them on a proper schedule, the persons will know on what date and what time their garbage will be collected. You won't find us having some of the problems we're having with collections and people complaining about health issues and so on.
And I mean, another suggestion, that all you need, if we had the garbage things built in such a way, one job could come, it have a little hand, take up the something, put it over church and put it back. But if you have 40 people on the truck, and you're absolutely right, I thought you were a backward president, as a matter of fact, the problem is that persons like you, the level that you are at, you are not the level of making policies. And that's where we have the challenge. A number of persons in the public sector, including yourself, you're qualified, you're informed, and I gather that you have traveled quite a bit. You're not at the policy level. At the policy level, I know you probably don't want to comment on that rather. What is important, who are cost who are make up nice, who are lick desk, who are friend with Prime Minister. This is why I have no friend, Mr. Grant.
So we as trade unionists, we intersect with policy.
Yes.
Quite regularly.
Do they listen to you enough, though?
Sometimes they do. And when they do listen to us, it works wonderfully.
Yes.
When they don't listen to us, is when we usually have problems. That's what we refer to as a lack of true consultation. Well, the union movement does make some very good consultation.
I'm going to have to go for a break now, but I'm going to tell you something. So I'm going to give you a challenge. So I'm your boss. Well, it's good for you to be speaking about trade union matters and so on. We need to have you on air more often. Because so long you see how you talk sense and as much as me chat and make up noise and push on the ideas, we need to hear you more in terms of where we need to go, Mr. Grant.
You got me working, and we're putting in every day. You got me working, and we're pushing it in every way. Yeah. You got me working, and we're putting.
Welcome back. You're listening to Rhythm FM, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica, broadcasting on the FM band at 102.1, 102.3, 102.5, 102.7, and 102.9. Of course, you can get us on the internet at www.rhythmfmjamaica.com. Let's see if my friend is on the line still. Mr. Grant.
Yes.
Well, we only have 3 minutes left. You are now the Prime Minister of Jamaica, so please address the whole country, sir, and we just listen to you. What changes do you think are needed? What we need to do in the public sector? Of course, this is just part one. Just make sure you book again. We're going to have you as my special guest one day.
We need our country to pay attention to our education system. I think our education system is the weakest link in our governance of the country. It is what is turning out the citizens of today and tomorrow, and we are reaping what we are sowing. If we don't invest more in education at the basic, the primary, and the secondary level, we are not going to be turning out the men and women that we need to continue to grow Jamaica effectively, and for us to reach the aspiration that we have, that we will be the country that leads in every space, every sphere in the world. So I think we need to invest a little bit more in education. And that will mean not just the facilities and the technologies that we need to enhance the educational experience, but to start earlier to inject those into the psyche of our young, make certain things mandatory in terms of how children go to school. How do we cost and how do we subsidize education at the very primary, basic level, all the way up until we reach the secondary level? If we do that, Vernon, I think we will see a generational shift in the next 15 years if we start that investment. No, it's going to take at least that long. And for me, that is extremely important as a national focus for us to move Jamaica back to where we were and to put us where we are supposed to be.
Yes, sir, no? I give you one more time. You save 1 minute, but I've heard you, sir. And I'm going to ask you, we need to book you probably another day. We want to chat with you for about an hour, because I think you have quite a lot to offer. And I don't think I've learned enough. I probably spent today pushing some of the things that I want to hear you push, but you're too preoccupied, the members. My pressure to do this. And
we can arrange it. I think my members will sacrifice me for an hour to come and talk.
Yes, because let me tell you something. many persons are more interested in getting news and making news. I am an advocate, as I tell people. I want my country to change. I want to be improved. Although Miss Ungan left it, And so when I get you to come here, and some persons can't understand it. They think you're calling them to terrorize them. Now, if you're a liar, so I have no patience. If you're a conman, I'll have no patience with you. But, when I get persons here, I want them to give ideas to improve this place because this country is not owned by politicians, right? And we own it. And you have as much concern as like anybody. So I want to thank you very much, my brother. It was great having you today. Mr. O'Neill Grant, President of the Civil Service Association of Jamaica. I'm Vernon Darby. You're listening to Rhythm FM. It's now exactly 12 noon.